you know, like the Walther's like a little snappier, you know, and you get that, right? Pretty cool thing on the inside that we have a step chamber on our barrels. It's a loose fit chamber. Last quarter bit steps down and it's basically like a match grade chamber. So you get higher velocities out of the gun runs cleaner.
That's your step in the chamber. So you get, you know, like Cody says, you got a tight chamber, keeps high pressure. So you actually get about 50 feet per second more with this gun than a competitor's gun with the same length barrel.
Well guys, we finally grabbed the PDP back from Applied Ballistics in Lafayette. It's got about 2,000 rounds through it, and now it's time to start some testing. Now, while we're working through the optics mount testing, there's something that I wanted to kind of look into. As you saw in the opener, Walther claims that the stepped chamber in the PDP actually gives it about 50 feet per second more in muzzle velocity than firearms with an approximate the same length barrel. Well, that sounds like hooey, and I want to check it out. So what I've got here is, I've got the PDP, I've got my CZ P10C, and a Glock 45, all with around a 4-inch barrel. Over here, I've got my Caldwell Precision chronograph. And over here, I have a box of 100% unopened Blazer brass. We're gonna put the same ammo in each one of those boxes into the guns. I'm gonna load them for you here in an unbroken segment so you can watch it so there's no funny business. We're gonna shoot it through the chrono and we're gonna see what we get. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the chronograph now so that I can just come up here and shoot, and let's go load. All right, so here is our unopened box of Blazer brass. Go ahead and pop that guy open. There's all the pretty little ammo. Let's go ahead and load up 10 rounds per magazine. This is the PDP mag first. I don't know what in what order I'm gonna actually do these in. I think I'm gonna do the PDP last, so that I know kind of what, where we're looking. So there's 10 in the PDP. There's 10 in the Glock. And here's 10 in the CZ. Now, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do here in just a second, after I can move that so that you can see my face hole. Okay. There are our mags. I'm going to go ahead and put them here. That's just the stock. I'm not using hollow points in this test. It ain't worth it. Okay. Move you back up so you can see this glory. And now we're going to go ahead and let's do the CZ first. So I'm going to grab the P10C. We're going to go ahead and load it. Let's head over here. Now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the chrono so that you can check my numbers. I'm not going to go through the numbers until I get back home. I can tabulate, and then I can put up the averages. So, not going to have any results here on the range. I just wanted an unbroken where you guys can see me put the ammo in the guns, put the ammo through the chrono, and see our numbers, okay? So again, this is the P10C. Not a great way to do this. I guess you're... You know what? Let's do it this way. Give me just a second. I pulled all my nifty stuff out, so that kind of sucks. So much for unbroken, huh, guys? Let's see if we can get this going. You know what? Let's do it this way. I got a camera on me. I'd hate for you guys to not be able to see me shoot in the same time as I'm doing this. So let's go ahead and set this guy up. I'll pull you guys over here so you can actually see what I'm doing, because otherwise we're going to get some funny business questions. Okay. So we're just hooking up the camera. It's not enough to be able to see the chrono. Okay. That ain't pretty, but it works. Let's go ahead and do the P10C first. Okay, recording on that P10C, 10 shots. 1164, 1187, 1170, 1180, 1179, 67, 69, 86, 71, 63. So we're looking at, I'm going to guesstimate an average of 1175, we'll say. So that's through the P10C. Let's run 10 rounds through the Glock 45 now. So again, 1175-ish for the average there. I'll cover that here afterwards. I'll throw up, I'll do all the stuff. I'm not going to throw up. I'm going to do all the math and figure it out then. So, about 1175. Through the Glock 45, we're looking at 1155, 1170, 1169, 1153, 1153, 1121, 1146, 1142, 1158, 1151. So with this, I'm going to call it at about 1150 for the Glock 45. So that gives us a variation there of about 25 feet per second. This mag is super radly. Anyway, so we're looking at about 25 feet per second there between those two. Where's my dot? Uh-oh. There it is. Whew. That is not bright today. Anyway, okay. So now we've got the PDP. So with the PDP, if what they said is true, we should be looking at feet per second anywhere from 1200 to 1225. Let's see what happens. First shot. 1151. 1176. 1161. 1163. 1180. 824. That's got to be an error. 1162. 1166, 1167, and 1156. Let's go back and tabulate those and we'll talk about it.
Okay guys, so we're done shooting. We're back here in the studio now, and before we get to the results and the numbers, I wanted to point out 3 of the things that he talked about in the opener. So one of them is that the gun is snappy, and he talked about that being a byproduct of the step chamber and the higher velocity. Well, it's also a byproduct of the design of the gun. Same thing with like the Canik TP9. It is a snappier gun than other guns in its approximate size. It's got a big old hunk of a slide that's being lobbed back and forth, and they just end up with a little bit more recoil impulse. They're still controllable. The Walthers, especially, the grip texture on them just makes them a really enjoyable gun to shoot, but that doesn't mean that we can ignore that snappiness that even the guy from Walther admits it has. So the next thing I want to talk about is the stepped chamber and what they've got there. They talk about it being kind of like an AK, where an AK chamber, if you don't know, is more conical shaped. It's not a parallel wall. Makes it easier to feed, easier to extract, adds into the reliability of the AK. So they're talking about this chamber being looser at the back, tighter at the front, so you kind of wedge in. What that does is that allows you to get a nice seal up front, lets you feed maybe a little bit dirtier ammo, definitely on a dirtier chamber, but it'll also keep the chamber cleaner because you're sealing it better and you're not getting blowback back and around the brass on a chamber that's looser the entire way around. And that's legitimate. I mean, that it really will shoot cleaner. And then last is the byproduct of that step chamber that they say gives you that 50 extra feet per second. So now that we've tested that, let's go over the results of the numbers. So I'm going to go in order of the way that we tested these things. So the CZ P10C with a 4-inch barrel, it's 4.02 inches, so we're talking another 20 thousandths of an inch on the P10. It has a velocity of 1,174.6 feet per second average across those 10 shots. So my guesstimate of 1175 was not too far off for my quick math. That's the only one I got that close. The Glock 45, with again a 4-inch barrel, is running at 1,151.8 feet per second. So you can see between the CZ and the Glock, we are looking at about a 25 feet per second average difference in velocity of that projectile. Now we come to the PDP, with the touted 50 feet per second more compared to other firearms with the same barrel length. With the PDP, we're looking at a muzzle velocity of 1,164.6 feet per second. Pretty much right smack dab in the middle between the CZ and the Glock. Now, admittedly, CZ chambers err on the side of tight, and Glock chambers err on the side of loose. But putting the PDP like right smack dab in the middle there tells me a couple of different things. One, the 50 feet per second, not happening. Even with a tighter and tighter chamber, you're not going to gain 50 feet per second. And that was really my question the whole time, was where that 50 feet per second number comes from. I could understand a higher muzzle velocity for that, but 50 feet per second when you're talking about firearms, that is a lot. Now, yes, I used a single type of ammo in this case. I used Blazer Brass, which is kind of like midline ammo. It's not the best, but it's definitely not the worst. But they didn't specify their numbers via ammo. They specified their number via barrel length. In addition to that, even if we got some varying numbers with some of the other ammos, 50 feet per second, again, is a massive amount of muzzle velocity change for that. 25, I mean, we got 25 feet per second variation just between a couple of different guns. Is it the ammo? Is it the barrel? I don't know. So, unfortunately, it looks like our 50 feet per second increase over guns with the same barrel length for the PDP is kind of a busted myth. Now, all you PDP fanboys, lay off. I don't not like the gun. I actually really do like the gun. It would have probably what I consider the best grip texturing on the market right now. And that's even above my preferred P10C. If you could get me a P10C with the PDP grip texturing on it, I'm down. But I will say that one thing that I don't like is dishonesty in companies. And unfortunately, that's why the PDP keeps coming under the microscope here, is Walther's made some lofty claims with this thing, and some of them just don't pan out. Is it a good gun? Yeah, it's a good gun. Does it run all of the ammo you put through it? Mine doesn't like steel. We'll see that the next time you see the PDP. The optics cut, still debatable. And the claims of the 50 feet per second, not so great. It's got a great trigger, it's super accurate, grip texturing great, mag capacity is good. It's a little bit on the fat side, but for a duty pistol, that's not a big deal. But as much as I like the gun, I can't ignore some of the stuff that's going on with it that I don't like. If I did just glance over this stuff, I'm no better than the guys who get paid to do this stuff. So that's it, guys. That's the video on the myth of the 50 feet per second increase on the Walther PDP. Now, this is going to be the last time you see the PDP until we beat it up. Got about 2,000 rounds through it at this point, and before you ask about that being the best method to increase the round count on the PDP, remember that I am self-supported on here. I don't have a group of backers sending me ammo. I got a day job that I use to pay for that, and a day job and a family to have to work around for range time, and an entire rest of a channel to be able to run with this stuff. So yes, the PDP video is coming. Yes, it is going to take time. And yes, that was the best method for me to be able to get the round count up on it, because I don't have the time or money to be able to dedicate to that one gun and still be able to get content out. Now, the reason this video came out before that one is because that is going to be our last PDP video. I've beat the dead horse enough. Honestly, I'm just doing this video because so many people asked about it, and I just want the results of that one, but this one needed to come out first so that I can go ahead and beat it up and be able to have that one be out last so that we can just be done with the PDP. So thanks guys for watching. If you found this video useful, go ahead and do me a favor and hit that like button. If you like the channel and you want to see more, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, maybe the notification bell over next to it. If you want to help the channel out a little bit, like if you're one of those guys complaining about me not using my own ammo, you can head over to our Patreon page. Links in the description down below. If you don't want to do that, okay, I don't care. Things would go the exact same as they are now. But if you don't, you can't complain about me not spending all my money on ammo. Thanks again, guys. Remember, I appreciate every one of you, and until next time, do your research, get informed, and get to work.